Alarm, so I'm hitting it. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Fuck,
Ring
fuck
the
it.
alarm.
Fuck it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode. Wait, is this 102 or 103? I think I might have misnamed the episode. I think this is episode 102 of Breaking the Mold. You see what statistics did to my brain? Fucking me up in the game. My name in the episode. What's up, everybody? I'm Harrick and BX. Let's just get the show started. Say what's up to the rest of the crew. And John Attic, I'll start with you. You weren't here last week, and I missed you, brother. How are you doing?
I was there in essence, in spirit. I was
Yes.
there. I was
felt
never.
you.
I will never not be there.
I felt you, but I couldn't hear you or see you.
Well, I should just admit that the last time I saw Dave, I took a little clipping of his hair when he wasn't paying attention. So he's always with me wherever I go.
Well, I'm gonna want
So creepy.
I'm gonna one up you, Gary,
So
and I had a butthole full of his sperm. So.
Oh yeah, Jimmy wins.
Man, you must have got that when I was asleep or drunk. Because there's no way, bro.
JD wins.
He sure does. Shit. Yeah, man. Me and the family were kind of sick the past 2 weeks, so last week I couldn't make it, unfortunately. But we're all recovering, getting better. You know,
Did you guys run out of toilet
paper? Toilet paper? No, not like
run
that.
out? No. Oh.
We weren't sick like that, Brian. We had like flu-like symptoms. No diarrhea though. No diarrhea.
Well, when I get the flu, you need to have toilet paper.
What is that?
Are you
Well,
the
I
one
think-
that use toilet paper to wipe your nose?
Right. Yeah. You know,
Do you
my
like
dad
toilet
used to
paper 'cause
keep a
it's
roll
softer?
in the
Yeah.
toilet paper in the car because he would basically use it as tissues.
Oh, all right.
That shit was fucked
Tissues.
with your nose after a day or so of doing that. I know what that feels like. Blowing your
'cause
nose with the non-soft.
It gets
tissue.
it gets a little
Well,
rough in
wait,
your
what do
nose
you
area.
what do you use newspaper to wipe your ass?
That's what I was going to ask Jose. I was like, "Good grief! What are you? Are you separating the 2-ply to 1-ply to stretch it out?" I'm like,
Yeah, man. I try to save some money down here. You know what I'm saying? So
They pick and choose, man.
Single
Pick and
ply.
I
choose.
use
Single Dave.
store brand toilet paper. You know, I'm not using Charmin, unfortunately. So
That toilet paper at work is like that. Where like, yo, that roll is so big, it's huge. right?
yeah, Dave.
And,
yeah,
and every time you pull it, it fucking square rips off because it's so thin.
hmm
But you need like at least 30 squares in order to fucking pad them up to wipe your ass because it's 1-ply. Like it's 1-ply, you could see through it. It's just gross. Like there's been a time or two your finger just breaks through the paper. It's like fuck this toilet paper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, well, it's good to be back.
Sweet.
And I hope we have a fun night tonight because I need it. So
Oh yes. All right. Next up, the analyzer, Brian Brink. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, do any of you guys watch anime?
Yes.
On and
Yeah,
off.
a little bit.
On and
That's
off. Mhm.
So yeah, I've last weekend I started to search for some things to watch, and I was like, you know what? Netflix is full of this stuff. So I started Googling like what's the best Netflix to anime on Netflix right now, or like what's the
he Googles it
Uh,
instead of asking his nerd friends.
Right.
or what's the what's the animes on Netflix right now that have nudity, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, I added a few to my list, but I started watching the 7 Deadly Sins, which is a bit kiddie, but the story's kind of neat, so I kind of dig that. But yesterday, I started watching Evangelion. Dude, that shit is like Macross, like Robotech saga type stuff. That's
Angsty
really good.
teens and shit.
Well, there's that in there too, but it's you know, it's kind of like Pacific Rim a little bit in regards to how the mechs work and things. So it's kind of cool. I'm like 6 episodes in, kind of dig it.
Nice.
I'm afraid that it's gonna make me want to buy toys.
Well,
So-
there is a Eva.
yeah, I
Optimus
know there is.
MP10.
I know there is. Gary.
I'm just saying.
I know there's a KO too. If I decide
Right.
to really pull the trigger.
There's a KO and there's a MPP10
Yeah.
oversized version as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you should really watch, Brian,
What's that?
Berserk.
Yes, I was gonna say that too. Berserk
All right,
is a good
I'm
one.
gonna-
You want boobies, you want mythic, you want it's all there.
I feel like a schmuck. I saw that there's a whole bunch of anime hitting Netflix February 1st, and it's a lot of like classic stuff. So there's one about the big cat rabbit Totoro thing.
All right.
I always like that one.
So JD, there's a few of them here. Are
So
there?
they're on
There's three
Netflix.
of
There's
them.
3
Should
movies.
be 3 movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have like, I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll or Funimation, but there is a series that takes place after those 3 movies.
You have to pay for
Okay.
Crunchyroll though, right?
So it looks like the
I
three
think
movies are
so.
all 2012. Oh,
So
wait, one's
they're all
2013.
listed like, you know, the what is it? The Golden Egg 1, Golden Egg 2, something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, those were good. The animation was crazy. And those
Yeah.
looks really good.
It's
All right,
fucking good.
adding
It's brutal.
to-
It's mythic. You want cartoon
Adding to the
boobies,
list.
I heard, and it's more adult themed. Some horror aspects in there, demons and shit. It's pretty awesome.
All right, I got.
Aaron
And
in
then
the
I also
chat.
got this.
And if you want toys,
this Devil Man-
you're
No, I don't. I
You're
don't
very
want toys.
well. You're very limited. So
Oh, thank good. Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
See, I saw Gundam Unicorn also. I enjoyed that. So that if that's on Netflix, throw that on your list too.
yeah,
Gotcha.
Iron Blood Orphans.
Alright.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's on the list. That's been on my list for like even back on YouTube. I added it to my list, but I never watched it.
Yeah,
And this
Unicorn's
Devil
not that
Man
bad.
Crybaby looks interesting as well.
It's pretty good. Like I'm a big Devilman fan, so that so there were 2 like 50-minute kind of movies that were released back in the 80s or like not in the 80s, it was like early 90s. But they never finished the story that Go Nagai was writing. They never finished it. Crybaby kind of, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It kind of makes they redid it and they actually finished the story.
Gotcha.
It's a little strange.
Cry baby.
Yeah, Devilman
Johnny
Crybaby.
Depp.
So anyway, that's what I'm doing.
Cool.
All right, sweet, nice. Anything? Is there anything that spurred that on? Like as far as like wanting to watch the anime stuff?
Yeah, I got tired of scrolling through looking for shit to watch. So I was like, oh, and I don't usually like to watch series because I just kind of I don't want to get wrapped up into something. But you know what? I was like, these things are 20 minutes long, which is perfect for me. Like I don't like binge watching or going through a series that's an hour long. Like these 20-minute episodes are good. I mean, that means like within an hour you can get through like the story arc moves a lot faster. So I kind of dig it. Because I just got done binge watching The Office over Christmas, and
I did that too.
no, sweet. And I just got done watching Disenchantment as well, which is
I
Matt
like that
Groening.
one also. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
that was pretty good.
Those are shorter episodes, also.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically like Futurama, but it takes place in a fantasy land.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Mythic Legions.
Yeah.
Futurama.
Yep, exactly.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, the Meat Bagalorian. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Fucking painting. Getting over this fucking cold.
Gravy time. That's right.
But yeah. Now I'm all like, yeah. What other anime can I tell Brian to watch? Naruto's a good one. That'll be like Clone Wars, so you can just like leave it on.
He'll be lucky if he watches even one of those series.
I know.
Like I said, I'm getting through this Evangelion. It's pretty wild stuff. I dig it.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's giant robot stuff. So that's cool. I remember watching something like that a while ago. I think one of those movies, but I mean, it's been so long. It'd be like if I watched it again, it'd be like brand new. I remember liking the animation though. Very cool looking stuff.
Well, the interesting thing is too is it's when Netflix put it out, they redubbed it, and I did some research online, and people who were purists are all pissed off because they redubbed it with different voices, and they also downplayed like this homosexual relationship between these two characters. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but the
He
other
already knows. It's gonna
well,
be dudes kissing.
but on screen, I mean, they have products that are Japanese products, so I'm constantly like pausing it and putting the translate thing up to it. Like, what's that say? That's pretty cool.
Nice.
It's funny though watching some of this stuff, like even Robotech Macross that I love watching. Like that show has a lot of strong female like leads in it, and so does this show that I'm watching. And I don't know if it's characteristic of other anime to have that, but it's like I don't know, was that progressive for the time back then? Because these shows are like in the 80s and 90s, and like now we see like this more kind of surge for strong female leads, and they make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, I think it's always been a problem.
It's just different culture over there. You don't got the standards and practices, which is why you see that stuff in the animation over there as opposed to here. It's interesting.
Like the stuff that's more out there is stuff that they're actually airing on TV. You know what I mean? They're and I guess girls are more fun to draw. I would say.
What's interesting too, like now obviously actors when they portray a certain character, like they become that character, and that character is their own thing, right? And you really like fall in love with the character, charming person, whatever. But when it's drawn, like those artists that do that, you can tell that they also put that type of personality into some of these characters. It's not just animating a mouth on a face, you know what I mean, kind of thing. It's very interesting. It's very good stuff.
They're going full blown into it.
They animate them very voluptuously. Some of those ladies.
That's not what I'm referring to exactly, but they do give them. I mean, obviously the voice actor gives them personality, but each character is drawn with their own personality, like how they do facial tics and stuff. It's very, very fascinating sometimes.
Yeah. Nice. Well, JD, I'm sure JD and Jan watch a lot of that stuff, right? I used to watch that stuff back in the day, a lot more back in the day than I do now. But I remember just watching Berserk when it first showed up on Netflix.
Ghost in the Shell is also
that shit
really
was
good.
Awesome. Yeah, I dig the original. I know they did like a series and stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty good too.
Standalone complex and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember seeing the films. They even did like a sort of like a remastered version where they added some sort of like 3D animation to the original Ghost of the Shell. I didn't dig that though. I dug the original over that, but it's out there. All that stuff is out there. There's tons of stuff for you to check out. Those original video animations is what they call them. A lot of that old school stuff like Akira, Ghost in the Shell. What are some other ones like Ninja Scroll, stuff like that? Those are like classics. Like, so those are just easy, like quick movies to watch and
all that's that's when it was all hand animated.
Nice.
It was all hand drawn.
Incredible, like the quality of the animation. Like considering like for back then, you could watch those things now and still, be impressed at what you're watching.
And I was very surprised to see how much Netflix original content is out there for anime too. It's very, very cool.
I think Hulu got a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff. It's hard to even explore it all.
Well, it's funny. I mean, remember when Disney Plus came out? People were going on and on about, Netflix is going to be dead because of this type of shit. Like, if they're doing this kind of stuff, I mean, they're going to do just fine.
Yeah. I just think it's awesome that you don't have to worry about missing like episodes anymore. So like for me, when I was a kid in Star Blazers, I don't know if you guys ever watched that or saw. I think it was actually before like Macross and Robotech came over. I think it was from like the late 70s.
It was 70s, yeah.
With the Yamato, and there was like 3 different storylines. Also, I think that they put together. I remember being in college in the mid 90s. and going into a comic book shop in Fort Lauderdale and like seeing like all the VHS cassettes, in a row for the episodes. And I was blown away because they were there, but they were expensive. I mean, they were like, because you couldn't just get them anywhere back then.
Yeah.
And so I think they were all like $45 a piece. And I was like, there's no way I can, plop down, and buy these all at once. And then I'm like, I can't start at number one and buy them in sequence because what if I miss one? I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and dude, like you said, like there used to be, videos that they were charging, cassettes that they were charging $45-$50 for. Sometimes those things would only be like a half an hour,
exactly,
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, no,
like,
what
exactly
the fuck?
Right. Yeah, I remember when I tracked down one of my first the Guyver, series.
Oh,
trying to track that down at one point in time. I was like, oh, jeez, it's good.
Yeah. So JD keeping busy painting and stuff. So that's what you've been up to? Shelf grading?
yeah, pretty
Keeping
much.
busy?
Yep. Just same old stuff. Just keeping busy. Like I said, I was getting over a cold. That was fun.
So like Dave, man, everybody catching cooties out there.
Yeah.
Not me.
Not me either.
I'm trying to avoid that, even though I was sick in December too.
It's like-
so
It's like, shut up, Gary.
I had that last month before coming back to the show. I was fucked up for a couple of weeks. So, all right, Dominic, how are you doing, bro? I can't see you face tonight. Why are you hiding?
Yeah, my video. Something's going on with my video.
How are you? How are you?
That's how it is.
I guess that's how it is. That's how it be. What's happening, man? How you doing?
Not much. Nothing's good. Good. Everything's going good. I had a nice, quiet, lovely 3-day weekend. So
Oh yeah,
I had off on Monday for the holiday.
Sweet.
So it was good. It was very nice. Did some relaxing and hung out with the moms and just helped her put some of her Christmas stuff away. So now I guess I have to do mine. Since I actually helped somebody else put theirs away, I guess the rule is that I got to start doing mine. So
Do you guys listen to Christmas music while you're putting your decorations away?
no.
Hell no. Look
I
at this
did not-
chat wing and them being all dirty. That's
I was-
dirty chat.
I was just realized this weekend that I did not spend any quality time with Christmas music at all this year.
Really?
Come Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus.
I think I might have heard like a few songs while I was walking through Kohl's one day, but that's it, man.
I don't put on Christmas music either, though. Like, not really.
Drive-by music, Christmas music.
It's just, like, yeah, if it happens to be on the radio, if there's and even that's rare for me to hear the radio, like, unless somebody at work has one and has it on. I mean, everything is just Spotify or on-demand stuff.
None. So far, none of those are true.
None of
I
the
wish-
above.
I don't know which one I wish more that I was doing, but the PB&J is tempting. It's tempting right now because I'm pretty fucking hungry.
Oh man,
I know it's a toss up. It's a toss up.
Oh man, no, I know what my answer would be.
Yeah, of course you do. You fuck.
How about you get one while you're eating a PB?
Exactly. Why not both?
That's the ultimate dream right there.
You can have your cake and eat it too, right?
Well, see you guys later.
with a nice tall glass of milk. That'd be great.
Oh, Don's being extra now. He's being greedy.
Chocolate milk.
You don't wash it all down with something.
Chocolate milk, yum yum. All right, G Money, how are you tonight?
Dude, everything is great, man. It's good. I got a lamp, so that's exciting. It still doesn't really work completely, but it's better than it was. So.
Nice, good job,
You
man.
need some light in front of you instead of behind you, and then
Got that going for me.
see that.
Does that
Move
lamp
it.
have a shelf in it?
It does have
third
two
world
little
country
shells.
called Florida.
Yeah,
That third world country called Florida.
it was amazing. It's sunny and 55, 60 degrees today. Everybody down here is like freezing. You should see the style of clothing that comes out when it does get chilly like this. It's a little bit, people got to dig deep in their wardrobes for stuff. I think it's kind of fun.
55,
I haven't had
crying.
this top from 1986.
Oh, members only. bring it back. It's like,
Shit, we had a what was it, like an 18-degree day over here in the city. It was cold today,
it really
so.
it legit. I mean, for here, it's a big deal because of like the vegetation right in agriculture, but it's supposed to hit like the mid-30s overnight tonight. So it's it does scare people.
That's the end of the world over there.
Dude, Gary, thank God you left. Thank God you left Albany, man. Albany just got pelted again.
Dude, again, I know. I talked to my old team up there, and I think they're on their literally their fourth significant storm this season already. So, yep, I'm good. So I got that. I didn't binge any anime stuff, but I did binge the second season of the kind of a bizarre show on Netflix called Sex Education. I don't know if any of you guys saw it. It's British, so it's like high school. And Gillian Anderson plays like the main character's mother, and she's a sex therapist, and he's kind of like using what he learns from her to be like he gets paid to give advice to other students. It's interesting. It's short. It's only like 8 episodes, and it's a bit too progressive to be realistic. Where they're trying to appease everyone in the world, and every one of their outlooks and isms and things like that, but it was interesting.
What's the name of that again?
Sex Education, it was called.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, but like I said, it just sparked my interest because Gillian Anderson from the X-Files. So
yeah,
how it started. But, yeah.
Does she still hold up, Gary?
She's had some work done, but she still holds up. Yeah.
You don't have to put the paper bag over her yet.
Like that. I just said, you can tell. But everything else was good. How about you, Jose? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Same old. They didn't they do some sort of like X-Files like revival thing recently? I guess didn't go nowhere.
They did like 2016.
Okay.
They had I don't even know if I call it a full season. I think they did like 6 episodes, and then it came back for like another 4.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I don't know. I mean, I watched it because I was committed, but sometimes you can't go back. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to let it go. And speaking of, I did see I know we can't talk about it because no one else saw it, but the
Bad Boys.
Yeah, conclusion.
Is it not past the spoiler mark?
No.
Spoil the shit out of that for me right now. Go ahead, tell us.
It was a good thing, though. Look, I can be fair. It was entertaining, but it's getting tough for him to pull it off. You know what I mean? So
I can't get over Fat Martin, yo.
I know. I hate to say it, but yeah, he's definitely it is.
I'm sure that was probably he was the brunt of a lot of jokes because of that shit. So. All right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind spoilers, but I know it just came out, so
no, I don't think there's much to spoil there either. But
Dave, do you have any ideas for anime for Brian to watch? Do you watch anime at all?
I watch the generic stuff. I watch the Dragon Ball Z's and the My Hero Academia, that type of stuff. Like generic, really.
Yeah.
I used to watch like the Fist of the North Star and that stuff.
Oh, fucking
back in the
Back
day.
in the old, yeah, that's another classic.
Fucking classic.
I love that fucking movie. Brian, another short one on Netflix, Castlevania, based off the video game. It's only 4 episodes.
I watched that one.
Yeah, it's quick.
They did
Super
a season 2, Jose. So go watch that. Yeah.
All right, I gotta catch up.
And what's that? What's the Castlevania? The Castlevania is on what? Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so quick that first season. I was like, that was it. It's just quick, like hour and 10 minutes or so between all 3 or 4 episodes. But if there's a season, how many episodes in season 2? Was it short?
I believe it was the same. Yeah.
No, the same thing. All right, so that should be a nice quick watch. I'll check it out. All right. Gary, a couple of weeks ago, he came up with something, guilty pleasures in collecting. I don't know if you guys have given any thought about it, but basically wondering if you'd be willing to admit. What, did we do this? No, we didn't.
I swear we talked about this.
I think this was a question on our 100th, but I don't know if you want to elaborate.
What do we buy that we might hate to admit? Did we do something like this? I don't know. I don't remember that.
Well, I think it was.
No, he did that. The question
the
was
Sky.
unusual
Yeah.
things in your collection.
Yes,
You
yes,
know
there.
what
That
I'm
was it.
saying?
Yeah,
I guess
something
it's
similar.
I guess it's somewhat similar. And so no, but this is something that you might not want to admit that you buy or collect. Gary's trying to get it out of us. You know what I'm saying?
Gary's got skeletons in his closet.
Mhm. There's a midget.
Well, you know.
What's
like
yours,
stamps
Gary?
or coins or something like that, something panties. I don't know, something out of the ordinary.
It's not that, but like there's like the Disney store has this line of figures called the Disney Toy Box, and they do Marvel, they do Disney movie characters, they do Star Wars characters like it, and they're fun, they're pretty cool. So I've got a couple of those, and I don't know if it was just when I used to go in the mall up there in New York, and there wasn't really anything else to buy, so I'd pop in there and find something and spend $8 on it. But they kind of have a bit of an anime / cartoony, look to it, but it definitely does not look like a, they're fun, I guess. It's just one of those things, but it doesn't really fit a more mature display or, when we talk about, giving, that's pretty funny, Matt. That's good. But yeah, so it's just one of those things, I was just kind of curious. I think I was thinking about, is there sometimes you pick up stuff, Brian always surprises us when he shows up at NJCC because he's, got stuff he received as gifts from family members and stuff he bought at, who knows where.
Like an ant farm and stuff like that.
The ant farm. He's got like model rockets, like fireworks.
That model rocket's got to sell this year. That's like got to sell because it doesn't fit in a tote, so it takes up a lot of room. Dude, I'm putting $20 on it, man. It's got 4 extra engines. It's a deal. It's quite a deal.
Per engine, yeah, per engine.
I mean, those engines are not cheap.
That's like $5 per engine, right there.
You know what? Maybe I'll put it together, and maybe someone will buy it.
Yeah. You got
offer like a free taco at Taco
4,
Bell or something with it.
You have 4 chances or 1 big chance to hit the neighbor's house.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, save the biggest engine for last because you'll never get that fucker back. You're gone.
Oh, it's a working fucking rocket, like a firework.
Yeah, like the thing you
solid rocket fuel.
Oh, all right. How you talking? I never did one of those. I never had that growing up. Like,
Dave, have I got something for you in April?
Hobby.
That was on the table.
You act now. You throw in the fire extinguisher.
I'll think about it.
All right.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear Energon Addict burn his house down with a fucking model fucking rocket?
You're supposed to take it in the backyard.
All right. Here comes the GoFundMe for fucking Energon Addict because of a $15 fucking rocket.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, "Hey, you weren't supposed to use gasoline. You weren't."
Why'd you sell me the rocket, Brian? Why'd you sell me the rocket?
No, but have you guys ever, started buying something? Because look, I think once you buy one thing, it's fine. It could just be a spontaneous purchase. You buy a second one, right? You're kind of like, "Oh, I got 2 of these things." But once you add 3 of an item, that is a collection. Yeah, I mean, you have now officially started. So I was just.
I remember.
I don't really have anything. I mean, I would say, well, okay. I'm looking at some now, but we were kind of talking about this the other day, Chan and I, and she's like, "Yeah, the cancer of the collecting world, Pops."
Oh, see that? Yeah, right.
Poppy Pops. Yep.
Yeah.
So like there'll be certain, like the Dune figures came out, and of course. She got the Mandalorian ones, and I have like Big Trouble in Little China. I have some G.I. Joes, so yeah, the Pops line because they just put whatever out there. I'll say.
I don't want to put anybody else.
I'm with JD. I do tend to buy a pop here and there. So as much as I trash talk them
here and there, here and there. Dom.
Yep.
How many pops do you own, Dom? Won't you tell everybody?
Just a handful.
200?
It all depends. It all depends your hand. It depends on your
See, I don't think I actually knew that Dom bought Pops.
Yo,
Yep. about
one
pups?
one show we went to, right? He went to go buy this fucking case, and the case was like, it was probably like 12 by like 8 or 12 by 10. I was like, what the fuck is that for? He's like, a pop. And I was like, what pop? And he pulls it out of the bag. It was a big fucking
Was that the
Tony the
Tony the
Tiger.
Tiger.
That's right, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
I
hey,
collect
you
the
don't know,
icon-
this
the-
one's
the
a
ad-
hot item. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but that's different because you
the-
say you collect Tony the
Yeah.
Tiger memorabilia, right?
Yeah, it's all the ad icon stuff. You know, cereals, man. You can't get rid of those cereals. You got Lucky Charms. You got fucking the Tricks the Rabbit. It's got all those fucking ad icons that were pretty cool. I like the ad icons line because
Grails
Those
are
they do-
fucking grails. Frankenberry is my grail.
Those are like
they got
hard to
those.
find, I guess. I imagine
They are.
hard to
They're
find.
more rare and hard to find, and tend to pay like a secondary market on some of them. So
Dom really wants to be a honeycomb kid.
honeycomb, dude. They have B from Cheerios. They have, what is it? They did the Coca-Cola. They did the Kool-Aid guy.
Bears, the Kool-Aid guy.
Mhm.
E Prime.
We were talking with our GameStop guy when we were in there over the weekend, and that's like his big thing is he gets all the icons.
Ad icons.
He had
the ad icon
Bob's
lines.
Big Boy. They had a Colonel in there, the KFC Colonel, but he's like, I won't buy that one because the box is all smashed.
Yeah, those pop collectors like the box. I don't give two shits about the box, but they're all about the thing. But they like at the end of the day, it's like they get you at certain things. I feel like if you call yourself a pop collector, you have to be like collecting like the Star Wars line or the fucking Disney line, one of those lines that are up to like 500 fucking pops or figures in the line. It's crazy.
You're
Why's
a
it
pop
gotta be? Why can't it just be one? Why can't you just be one? And
I don't consider myself a pop collector if I'm just collecting one part of it. Like, you know, I just don't like I don't know. I just don't collect.
Apparently
What do you mean one part of it?
Apparently they have an app where you can like
determine if you are a pop collector.
Well, I think if you
how
have
pop
that,
are you?
if you have that app and you're checking them off a checklist.
Oh no, no, I don't have that app.
So you ain't that serious, bro. You ain't that serious. Construct the pops.
That'd be like they haven't done that. Like they've done a couple like movie Transformer pops, but they haven't done like any Transformer pops. That would be cool.
I have one pop that one of the docs gave me as a gift from the job.
I have a few myself. I
know Dave does. So but back on the app.
And I have the alien pop that came in a loot crate. I have like maybe about 5 or 6 of them at tops, but
I mean, no need to be ashamed about that. I mean, I know it's probably not the usual thing, but everybody here collects something, so you know, ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Dave, what do you have in the center console of your car? Did they make it into the new car?
Dude, are you like that's what you meant? Like I'm not trying to call anybody out. Well, that was in my last.
Does he have a pop?
No, it's not pop. No.
You ever seen those mini He-Man figures that they have
the
big heads?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of those too.
Yeah. So
you have that? You have that?
I had one in my car. Gary's like, "What's this doing here?" I'm like,
no,
it's actually a double."
No, they actually are very cool to look at. But we were in his car. I think we were last spring, right? When we went to go see Endgame, and like he opened the console when we were parking, and there was like 3 or 4 in there. It was funny. It was like a little hidey hole of like bolts, and they're cool, but it's just more funny that dude, you got toys in your freaking center console of your car in case you get bored in traffic. It was pretty good. But then I started playing with them. Like these are actually really cool looking.
Yeah, they are. I never got He-Man, so I got pissed off. I stopped collecting them because I had like most of the like Skeletor and all the bad guys, but no He-Man. The thing is, in this when I had the Toys R Us open by me when those things were selling, people used to just open them and take them out, steal them. So
right in the thing.
Do they pose or do they just stand there?
No, they have like 5 point at least of articulation. Their arms and legs move, and their heads. Their wrists might even move. I forget. I can go get one if you want.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have anything really out of the ordinary though. Like I can't say I haven't gotten no toys yet for this year so far. The first 3 weeks of the new year, so I'm practically done. Yes, practically done. So it's not going to be for a while that whether I branch off or try to maybe go out of the ordinary as far as collecting. It's just going to be Transformers and just very selective like at that. So. Nothing lately. Before I used to fucking buy everything. So, all right. But that was cool. Okay, so I think this thing sort of came up last night. I think when I was listening to ETR, but about re-releases. I think Dom brought this one up about certain major companies, giving us re-releases of figures that we probably never would have expected to get, and some of these pieces that are being re-released are figures that command maybe like a high price on the resale market, and of course when they re-release figures like that secondary market price goes down. So there's a lot of positives and negatives to that. So what do you guys think? Hot Toys, Mythics, I heard have done it, Fans Toys recently doing that with some of their pieces. So what do you think? Are you a yay or nay for these re-releases or these reissues? What do you guys think?
I think it's a good thing. I think that if somebody didn't get a chance to get it or just coming into the game and you have a chance to pick something up that might have been sold out or you didn't want to pay the late tax for, I mean, why not? But what I do think they should do is every time they reissue something, slightly differ it. It shouldn't be the same item, because then you would kind of, I mean, sometimes it's hit or miss. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say like the Galvatron, right? That they reissued. And I like the newer version better. Like, I find it, more appealing, when I look at it. But some people might like the older purple one. But they're so different that people can make a choice. And if one is a little more limited than the other and it goes up in value, it does, but at least everybody got a chance to get it.
So that's interesting when you say that, because I mean that's what comic book companies did. Probably they still do it to this day. Like if they do a second printing of a comic that sells out, there was always something a little bit different about the issue. Like so that's interesting that you say that. And in a way, like in doing that, like if they change something about the re-release, it still somewhat keeps it collectible, because you have an original version and now a secondary version that's not quite the same as that first version. So collectability basically remains there as far as like value, especially if that second version sells out. Do you have a differing opinion, Dom? Because I know like you as a retailer, but you also as a collector,
I'm kind of I'm on the fence with regards that both poses pros and cons to each side. I just feel like this all came up because the Mark 47 from Hot Toys got reissued, and there's a lot of people in the Hot Toys community are kind of salty about it, because the people who were on board with buying that figure pre-ordered it. It was a shelf warmer, like as many people would say. It was up there for order for a while, and eventually sold out. And then it became, over the years, as it was sold out, it became one of the hottest die-cast Iron Mans, because of whether it's the color of just the silver on red. Same thing like with Mark V. People just were more attractive, I guess, to that particular figure. And the demand for it went crazy. So at the end of the day, it was fetching $1,200 to $1,500 on eBay, easy. But the thing is that now they're reissuing it for like $345. Same figure, same everything. No different, or nothing different than the one that they released 3 years ago. So it's like people are kind of like people who actually bought it first, and jumped on this figure, and for whatever reason other people didn't, because there's a lot of reasons that people just don't bite on a figure if they're collecting, depending on whether they are interested in it at the time or whether they're just didn't have the money for it at the time, and then at the end of the day missed out on it. But like the thing is there's a lot of those collectors on the other side complaining and saying, well, wait. You know, this thing was available. Where were you on the pre-orders? You know, why does my collection lose some collector value because I have this one hard to find toy or hard to get toy, and now my collection or my collector value has diminished due to the fact that it was reissued. So it's just something that I feel for both sides because I've been on those sides before. And like, there's people who just recently bought a Mark 47 for $1,200 or $1,500 and bought that saved up that money and went ahead and, because they did that work, they wanted the figure. They knew that they were going to have to pay the secondary market price, and they saved their pennies and they basically bought the figure at $1,500. And then now a month later down the road, the company re-releases it for $345.
Yeah.
So
they're
also getting a sting and kind of like, what the fuck,
Yeah, so I'm sympathetic to that because that's where I feel like at least in my opinion, that's where I feel like anybody would have the right to maybe bitch or complain. Like if they just bought it, for a high secondary price, and then they announced this re-release and now it's readily available for regular retail price. I could get like the argument, like, as I guess that's part of what it is. I guess maybe just being part of the club. You got in, you got the figure, it's sold out, now it's worth something. But honestly, like if I owned a piece and I had like no intention of reselling it and trying to make fucking double whatever I invested on it, like why the fuck would I care that now they're re-releasing it and somebody else could get it? Like that's just being an asshole. Like if you're like really, really getting angry that somebody else now gets to enjoy the piece if you own it and don't intend to sell it. Like,
you're collecting for the wrong reasons then. You're collecting you're collecting to make a profit on an item. You're not collecting.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm not saying you.
I'm not saying
you.
No. I'm not saying you. And guys, don't take me. I'm taking a personal attack.
Right.
I'm just saying people sometimes collect, and when they collect something like that, they jumped on board. They felt that this was like they're not looking to resell. I'm not saying anything about reselling. I'm just saying that if somebody got a figure, if somebody. Like even in this, like if somebody goes on a figure that they only made 1,000 figures, or it's limited edition, 1,000 figures, or they only made, because Hot Toys they only make close to like 5,000 pieces. Like there's not going to be a lot to go around.
But they never listed it as limited or put a number on it. They just put it out, and whatever sold out, and it sold out to the point that they saw that there was still a market for it. So they decided, let's re-release.
Dave, all this stuff has a number on it. Like there's nothing that's unlimited to a certain point. Like these days and age, it's like even if they slap exclusive on it, now it's not even exclusive because you're going to find it at another store in like 3 months.
But then you got like the statues that are 1 out of 500, and they're letting you know right then and there. That's it. 500.
I think I agree, but that's a different game that we could talk about later. But
I don't know. I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth, Tom, but it sounds like what you're describing is. I think you're right, though. Meaning, human beings, I think, as a whole, want to feel that they are a successful, educated consumer, whatever it is. If it's collectibles, if it's clothing, your home purchase, right, real estate, investments, all that type of stuff. So when you purchase something with no intention of reselling it or not for the financial investment, but yet it does become popular or something changes for the positive, I think people feel good about that, so that's cool. But re-releasing it, Dave, I mean, it gives someone else access who maybe, came in later on, changing something I think is always good,
Yeah, I wasn't arguing like against like you, Dom, or anything like that. Like I get that.
No. I just feel guys. I know there's collectors out there. I know there's people that are out there that collect, and when they look at their collection, not for reselling, but when they look at their collection, some of the pieces that are in their collection, they say, you know what? I'm so happy that I have this fucking figure. It's so hard to get. I got it. I'm so ecstatic that I have it in my collection. That's like some of that is there when you collecting. It's
right, but Dom, like
I'm not saying it defines your collection.
That could only last for so long before a company decides they want to do something better. Give you an example: the best double pack, right? What did you and me pay for that? Upwards of $600.
$600. Yep.
Right, and now they're coming out with a figure that looks just as good or better than this one than that one did for a quarter of the price. that you paid. And
I
I'm not
agree.
mad
I
about
agree.
it because
And Dave,
I've had it
I'm
for
not
2
pissed.
years.
I'm not.
You know, like I got my use
I'm
out
not
of it.
pissed. I'm not pissed that I bought it for 600. I'm not saying that that was a rare item that I have. Like, but for example, like the one-offs, like the Neon Tech, that first Neon Tech Iron Man diecast figure.
Right.
Now that figure was just a one-off figure, something that they were doing just to appease the fans with a nice rare exclusive figure. And if you buy that figure, you're like, I went in on this figure, and now everybody wants it. But like the end of the day, I went on it first and I got it, and now they're reissuing it like 2 years later. I'm saying like now it's like, it's something that I
You
went
mad
after.
about that though? You mad about that though?
No, I'm not
Oh.
mad about it. I'm just saying like like
You-
let's take
you-
Mexico.
All right,
for example.
you got it. You
Let's
got it
take Mex-
first,
let-
bro. You
let's-
got it first. You got to enjoy it 2 years before everybody else did. It's still something to be proud of.
I'm
and
not saying
happy
I'm
about.
not mad at it. It's like I can understand people's like disappointment in the fact that they're reissuing it, and now it's my one that I bought when it was available. Where were you when you're available? I can understand that argument. I can understand that like people being upset in that regards. But like Mexico, like let's talk with them. They never reissue any of their items.
Mexico?
They haven't
Mexico.
yet.
Mexico.
God, there goes
Mexico toys.
the fuck up for the night, right? Mexico. Oh man,
I said Mexico.
Oh,
I
said Mexico.
It might be my
I thought you said Mexico's always reissuing stuff.
you smoke before you get on.
They
the show?
they do.
No.
They do though. They do though.
Okay.
No, but Dom, to your point, right? Mezco doesn't reissue stuff, but what do? They come out with a fucking variant. They come out with a different version of the same.
Granted.
How many
I-
Punishers
that's-
did we get? How many Batmans do we get that look
A
that have
lot.
the same overall look, except for the colors are different?
I agree with that, and that's what
Different weapons.
I think what people like companies should do to contain their collector value of their items.
Mhm.
But like I understand it with a company, they're just trying to make money, and they're not thinking about that, and sometimes collectors get disappointed when they do things like this. But that, like I said, I'm more on I'm on the fence in regards to either side because I've been on the receiving end of something being reissued and that I always wanted, and now I'm happy that they're reissuing it. So
Yeah.
I've been on either side. So it's like I can't argue one side or the other because I've been receiving on the good side of one side and the good side of the other side.
Yeah,
So
he's on the fence because as a retailer, he loves it when something's fucking rare and you could charge triple for it. But when he wants to buy something as a collector, you don't want to pay that late tax. So fucking, if you paid retailer under, then you're happy. You're extremely happy.
Oh God,
No, I get you, bro. I get you. No, and that's why I wanted your opinion because I know both sides. I want to know like where does everybody else on the panel stand on that? Like, is that something that you mind that companies do, like reissue of like a rare figure that might have gone up, the original piece that might have gone up in value? Do you get upset if they'll reissue it?
I don't mind it at all, personally, because I feel like if it does go up, you can make that choice. Do I, cash out on it and collect something different, or do I just enjoy having it? But I do know, like, I think collectors having unique pieces in your collection that are different makes you feel, it's cool, because we don't all want to have the same thing, or, you're on social media or in a podcast or visiting, each other's homes. Those of us who invite them there, Brian.
Wait, what?
That's making a joke. But I think you want your collection to stand out and look different. So having a harder piece to acquire can do that. But at the same time, it's business also.
Yeah.
So my actual feeling. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But my feelings are partially that, again, I'm a business oriented individual, so I'll never fault someone for it. But if you're reissuing like MMC Sphinx, right? How many times have they reissued that toy, right? In different colors for cons and for shows and stuff. Why is it always the same price, if not, right, even more based on the circumstances when you're getting it? At some point, your costs go down. So, making a change so the original retains a little bit of uniqueness is cool. But, if you're doing something again and it's the same, I don't, to me, it doesn't always make sense. Why is the price the same? Or,
Yeah, yeah,
the fifth time around, you know, that something's come out as a repaint.
yeah. And it's true because sometimes when you see companies re-release things, or even if they're just maybe it's another version of a similar mold or something that's retooled, you know, the price, you could see a $10 or $20 like price difference between the pieces, and yeah, that makes you wonder, you know, why, you know, good or bad, I guess.
I'm all for it. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's like David said, new collectors come in, they didn't get a chance, you know, like, oh, I didn't know about this. But like I started whatever a year into the timeline. You know, bear with me here. Dog. But you know, the new people that jump into it, you know, they have a chance. I mean, there's lines that I've gotten into that, you know, there's like, man, I wish I would have gotten these from the beginning. The Mortal Kombat, the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figures, you know, that's a good example. You know, missed out on whatever the first 3 ninjas that are impossible to find for, you know, under like $300. Another example would be the 1,000 Toys Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. They got re-released, and luckily enough, I was able to get them. But I do agree with like something that is rare should have some sort of it should be different. That way it like sets the releases apart, and it doesn't take away from the people that were on the wagon to begin with. You know what I mean? Like their piece is still, you know, that limited piece or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what Dave was saying. So it allows the items to keep the collectability. What about you, Brian?
For this particular instance, this particular Iron Man, right? I think this is sort of a low blow because there's nothing out in the media right now to promote interest in Iron Man or anything like that.
Yeah,
they're simply putting this out because they know people want it. They know it'll sell. That's the way I feel.
I mean, you can't fault them for that, though.
I know.
The company themselves, you know,
should all strike on Hot Toys right in front of their fucking building. Petition. No, sign a petition. Do not make another Iron Man. Don't do it.
If you do that, bring the hat, Dave. Bring the hat, and we'll do it. They'll take us serious.
But like to like JD, what you were just saying, right? Like, I mean, not to bring up Mythic Legions, but I have to because why not? They're doing right now, Jose. I'm not sure if you're aware. You know, they do a vote for what All Stars, like essentially older figures that came out, they want the fans to come out with. So they're giving you the option to pick, you know, the top 4 figures, and then they'll throw a few figures they feel they want to re-release into the mix.
Okay,
so you had that option instead of paying. For example, there's one specific figure that Dom was gracious enough to sell me, but Dom, what you sell it to me for $100?
Like $80, $80.
$80.
Damn, you ganked your boy like that? Damn.
No,
that's what I bought it. That's what I bought it.
So
it was going for like 120.
right. And that it'll be more than likely will be one of the ones voted in. You can pick it up for $35 in a few months.
But like I said, Dave, I have no, like the ones I bought when I bought them, I had no problem spending the money for those at that time. Like, you know, I just like I'm not going to feel pissed about it that they're coming out because I know they're going to be limited again.
Right.
Like these are not going to be like Legion builders where they're going to always have them. It's going to be a limited quantity, and if you don't jump on them now, you're going to be playing secondary market as soon as they all sell out, which they do. It's like it happens. This Iron Man is going to sell out, and then the secondary market is going to grow a little bit higher and higher again and again and creep up a little bit as time goes by. So it happens.
Time does play a factor like there though, because if you paid like those $80 or whatever for that a while ago, and it's only like, let's say it was 2 or 3 years ago, and you're saying only now they're announcing a re-release. All right, enough time has passed. You spent that money. I mean, it's been a long time. You didn't know that they were going to re-release this. But if it's somebody that's just spent like money and threw down on a secondary market price, and then all of a sudden the re-release like just gets announced
There's a
or
little
something.
burn. There's a there's a little burn there. But you as making that purchase and saying that I'm willing to spend this amount for this figure should be your justification enough, if the fucking figure releases a day next where it's back to retail price, that's that might happen. That's shitty, but at the end of the day, you did decide on that. You felt $80 or $400, $600 was what you wanted to pay for that figure.
Mm-hmm. That happened to me with the Hercules. I spent the $400 on Hercules, and then fucking the GT got announced like the next month. I was like, oh damn, I should have just waited.
If you've been in this game for as long as any of us have been in, and it's happened to you.
and the funny part is, a lot of us haven't been in this game all that long, right? I mean,
exactly.
7 years, I guess, feels like an eternity when these shelves are full. But I mean, everything gets re-released. Everything gets re-released.
Yeah.
So
and it's with new people coming in every fucking day, every year. Like it's going to happen to those people because they're going to be looking to buy something that it's already sold out, and they buy it, and then all of a sudden, 3 months later, they announce that they're reissuing it, and you're like, fuck, you don't know, you can only assume, and at the end of the day, you can use little history. Here's your statistics, right, Jose? Use some history in regards to whether their probability is going to be high that they're going to reissue another toy. And in regards to Hot Toys, I believe they're on the market in regards to reissuing anything. So I'm not going after those toys. What's up?
Nothing.
Yeah. So then I guess for anybody, I guess you just wait. Right, on a long enough timeline,
but that's
everything.
I was just going to mention something when you said that, the word wait, right? It all depends on if you want to or can, also, because some people, they don't want to wait and hope that something's going to come out.
Right.
It's there now. All right. It's $100 over what it was, what it retail for, but I want it right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy it now, because when they re-release it 2 years from now, I may not be into it anymore.
Exactly.
So, it's that old adage that drives me crazy when someone says, "Oh, what's the current market price for such and such, right? Or what can I get for this?" And then someone else thinks they're the first one in the world to say, "Oh, it's only worth what someone's going to pay for it." You know what I mean? It's like you just have to ask yourself, no matter what it is, if you want it bad enough, what's it worth to you?
Right.
$5 for it right now.
Yeah. Yep. And then we always have to remember, today's point. And look, ETR coined the phrase, right? Patience saves pockets, right? It can for sure, but at the same time, you don't have that item and you're not enjoying, it in your collection or owning it or using it or whatever that looks like. So it's the same thing. It's like when you do own something, there's a cost of ownership and you derived some type of enjoyment or pleasure from it. And when you don't have it, you're giving that up in the meantime. So and does that item create a hole in what you envision your collection looking like, or, that line or that character? But that, like you said, you can only ask yourself, and sometimes it's just bad luck. If you save up or do what you need to do and you get it and you pay that secondary price or that that rarity price or the late tax, as we like to say, and then you can't predict the future either. So you just gotta be okay with it where you're at, and accept it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, I'm all for, like, if the companies do re-releases, I'm all for anybody that really wanted that piece to get their hands on it, regardless. So even though I do know that when you do have valuable pieces in your collection, that's nice too. Even if you don't have that intent to resell it, it is nice to know that you might have something rare, or just that you bought something and it became something of value, not just what it's worth to you personally. So, and I guess those are the pros and cons of it, right? The pros is that a new collector or somebody that missed out gets their hands on the product. The con is that if you were a seller, like, intending to make money on a particular item, you're only going to get retail value or whatnot. You lost some of the value there. So but that's all timing. We've all been through that. We've all sold things, we sell at these shows, and sometimes we get lucky, we make money, and sometimes we don't, so we're all very, very familiar with that. So, all right, so we'll put that one to bed. I was digging this one from Brian because it's very, very thought-provoking. He brought up what he called in our chat the end of the Renaissance. And basically what we mean by that. Now we're basically just starting into a new decade. So the beginning of some things, you know, and I guess we'll see. But it seems like there's been like a lot of closure, right? Like he brought up like the end of the MCU, like that main Avengers storyline sort of coming to a close with Endgame. You know, Harry Potter had a bunch of movies that, you know, wrapped up, and that story is, you know, told, it's done. You know, DC tried and, you know, I don't know, depending on your point of view, tried and failed. You know, they seem to be taking a different approach with their shared universe. But basically, he's bringing up like that, like is it the end of like this renaissance that we've had with in regards to movies, but also in regards to collecting, right? Because I think you also brought up, Ryan, that there's nothing like mind blowing that seems to be coming down the pike that you're looking forward to. Right. So what do you think about all of it?
Yeah. So what I want to say is, like, I mean, to me, my renaissance started like 10 years ago, maybe 2008-ish or something like that, right? It's like there's a blast of nostalgic collectibles coming onto the market, and they've gotten exponentially better in that short amount of time, right? And also 2019 was a key year. I mean, MCU wraps up that main storyline, right? The Infinity Saga or whatever they're calling it. Star Wars wraps up Skywalker.
I was gonna say,
right? And you know, I kind of threw Harry Potter in there as well, because I mean, you had some really big franchises come to a close, like in that time period. And if you think about collectibles, obviously, a lot of people here collect Transformers or have in the past, and you know, we have been on a wild ride with say like third party, even official MP stuff, even the mainline stuff, right? The Combiner Wars, the Siege, the Generations, so on and so forth. And we're getting to a point now where everything that's coming out now again is like, oh, been there, done that, right? Kind of thing. And also, like, I was going through a clickbait article today on like the most anticipated movies of 2020, and I'm going through and I'm like, you know, I'm not really anticipating any of this stuff. I mean, Top Gun kind of caught my eye, but you know, I'm not sitting here chomping at the bit waiting for that movie to come out. And then for the stuff in our culture, like at the end, they had the number one movie was Black Widow, right? But they also had oh man, I can't remember. Like Wonder Woman's coming out,
Ghostbusters, right?
Ghostbusters. But you know, is that really highly anticipated, at least for people in our particular circles? I mean, you know, as far as what it can or will it measure up to the things that we've gotten, you know, recently that have just wrapped up. I was kind of curious. Like, I'm not saying like geez, Jose, what did you write in here? You said, is this the end? No, it's not what I'm saying. What I'm just saying is it's a close to, I feel like a chapter has closed, right? And I'm kind of curious as to, like, I've got nothing that I'm highly anticipating except for maybe a Fans Toys Trailbreaker, right? I mean, other than that, it's like I'm just waiting for new stuff to come, but I'm not really anticipating things that are new. I'm pleasantly surprised every once in a while, you know. But it's you know, and that's kind of how I feel about it right now. And it's a weird feeling to not have that. Oh, I can't wait for next year, you know, because this is coming or something like that, you know. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Do you agree or not?
Well, I kind of agree with you, Brian. I definitely feel like what we're feeling now is what we probably felt back in 2007 in regards to where things are going.
Right.
Getting a little taste.
Transformers wrapped up too. I mean, yeah.
So like we're gonna get it. Like we got a little taste back in 2007-8, and now it's up to the industry to basically give us a taste of what's coming up next. And I think that's going to be coming out in the next 2 years, and whether it has legs to basically bring us along for the ride and make a commitment for another 8 years that they're going to be doing. Like that's the thing. Like I think we're all back at the beginning, and now we're waiting for the next chapter to open and see what the story is going to bring. Yeah. And we're just at the beginning. We're at the beginning.
Yeah. And a lot of the things that I've collected in that time frame are pretty much wrapped up too. And that's another thing I think that really hits home for me.
And it's scary too, because it could be. Sorry.
I want to ask Brian, what do you mean? Like, what do you You collect G1 Transformers that ended in 1986 or whatever, like, and like,
Well, no, I didn't collect those when I was a kid. I mean, I played
you
with them.
collecting them now, but
But my masterpiece shelves are pretty much done. What I want. I mean, my MCU collection's done. My Star Wars collection really is fleshed out pretty well from a 1/12 scale. And I'm not really missing anything from those main characters. And that goes from prequels to sequels to original trilogy. I mean, I got new mythics showing up every once in a while, and I'm collecting the Diaclone stuff, which I guess Gary, that answers my first question. That's something I collect, but I hate to admit because I don't open it. And so it's like,
Yeah, we
you know,
have
the
a
only
plan
thing new coming for me really are these Matty Collector Thundercats. Like that's a collection that I'm looking to complete, you know, depending on what they give us. But other than that, I mean, I'm not really diving into anything new. I don't have any major things with major holes to fill. So
for me, like Brian, that sounds so like that's like a weight off my back almost. The way
it is
when you say it like that, because of, like, shit, like maybe I've spent a lot less money this year, like, you know, considering what you're saying, because I collect a lot of the same things you do. But I don't see it going down because pre-orders are still coming out left and right, and I mean we have the Clone Wars coming up in a few months.
Yep.
We got
It's just gonna
the Mandalorian coming up. We got stuff that's gonna keep us into this shit for a while. I still think. What Bumblebee, that another movie's gonna come out. I know we don't really collect that stuff, but
yeah,
something could spawn off that, and we might be interested in it. You know,
perhaps. Yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened in that regard, where I go in and collect a line. I can't have something. I'm trying to have something spur my mind on the moment. I don't know, Pacific Rim. I don't know, Phase Life, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, I don't have a ton of pre-orders pending anymore, except for like some combiner limbs and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say I'm highly anticipating them. I think I'm just reaching a point where, wow, yeah, I filled all this stuff up, and it's like, you know, it's time to do a better job curating or trimming down at this point. So.
Yeah.
See, I found, Brian, that if, you know, I don't know, maybe I talked a lot in the last year about changes of, you know, environment and circumstances. And we talked also a lot about, you know, the fiction and getting you into or out of, you know, a line maybe. But I've just found myself keeping more of an open mind to things that may be coming out. So it's not like you said with a mission or a goal, but seeing something that might be cool and, you know, being open-minded to maybe collecting that or, you know, one off here or there. So like, I'll just use the example. I just got the, that Storm Collectibles, the Bane, and it's from, I think, the Justice line. Mm-hmm. It's just, he just looks badass. I don't have a DC collection. I don't have a big Batman collection. He doesn't fit with Mythics. He's kind of just a standalone thing. He just looked really, really cool, you know, and I thought he'd be fun. And I like Storm Collectibles as a line, and I thought it was exciting to see something that wasn't, you know, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, you know. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot, and it's really pretty fun. I think that's where I could see things happening for me too, in between some of the other things like the Clone Wars and, you know, season 2 of Mandalorian, which will have, you know, merchandise, I'm sure, and stuff that comes with it. Just, you know, just being more flexible maybe and seeing where it takes you, you know.
Yeah. I'm sort of with Brian. There's not really much anticipation for anything like on my end either, but
you're not excited about the Earth Wars versions of
the Earthrise stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just more retail stuff though. It's like I already know what to expect from that stuff. Like I like the way it looks. It's cool looking. Like and I like that that's still something that I would probably like to get my hands on. But like look, like I just got some of my pre-orders of those things got canceled on Amazon, and I didn't try to go to like another retailer to try to secure those figures like that got canceled. I'm just like, okay, I'll just get my hands on them, you know. So yeah, so it's almost like that same feeling of you know, not much looking forward to much of anything, you know. But I think, you know, we're just gonna have to, you know, we were so, I feel like escalation is a little bit of an issue because we do get hit and bombarded with like so much stuff between like the figures and TV and the media, that it's almost like, you know, like we're at a point where we get so much, like this is I feel like is almost like we would have killed for this shit back in the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's almost like we take it for granted. Like all the shit that we get and that we're watching and everything that we're getting to see. And that actually like a saga like the MCU that wrapped up with Endgame even fucking is possible or happened, you know, like this is shit that was unthinkable 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? That you thought you'd never see in that sort of form, you know? So I think they're just gonna continue to just come up with shit that we'll just wind up enjoying, you know, like, you know, they start something and then we get to enjoy it for a little 5 or 10 year period. It eventually ends, but then we'll get something new, you know?
Right. And I'm not I'm not trying to say there's a negative outlook here. I'm just saying I think that this is a period that definitely is showing some closure, and I'm sitting here waiting for the next movement, right? What's going to be the next thing? You know, if you think about like artists from the past, you know, the Renaissance and the Impressionists and the blah blah blah. There's something I'm waiting to see what's new on the horizon at this point. It's like, because I'm pretty much, yeah, man. I feel like that chapter's closed, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I got through it. A few stragglers here and there, at least from a collecting perspective, but I feel like this is something kind of unprecedented for us, you know, in the community, like what we collect, what we relate with. I feel like maybe there might be people out there that are kind of on the cusp of what's new.
Yeah.
What's going to grab us next? I mean, if Fig Arts is putting out figures of the boys, I'm clearing off half of that shelf over there. I'm going to put some more figures up there, but you know what I mean?
Crazy.
But that hasn't been announced yet, you know? So I don't know.
That would be fucking awesome.
That would be cool. Would you want Figure Arts to do them, Brian?
Yeah. I don't want Maytex to do it because I want hands on my figures.
I'm with you there.
I mean, that's, you know, I would be satisfied with, you know, even Hasbro like doing a Marvel Legends style or something like that. I mean, that'd be kind of cool too. I mean, they make a good fig.
That has to come eventually, especially since I think they're going to be doing a season 2 on.
Season 2's on the way.
Yeah, you know, so that's got to be coming. Somebody's gonna have to see the money in that and like license that. But like so what about that? Like, are there certain brands that will sort of pique your interest and get you guys excited for what's to come? Like, you know, like Gary mentioned, you know, with season 2 of The Mandalorian, I'm sure we're gonna be getting a lot of stuff. They were just trying to avoid spoilers for this first season. But what is it? Is there something like what would it be with Transformers? Let's say, like, you know, you're trying to finish up the masterpiece and maybe you're not really collecting Chug anymore. So what would be the next big push for Transformers? Like, let's say, to pique your interest as far as collecting and not be masterpiece. Like what would it be? Is there anything, or are you just done?
No, I mean, I feel like they've, sorry, JD, I don't want to interrupt you, but
no, you're okay. I
mean, basically they put them out in smaller scale, right? They've already done stylized versions with your Make Toys Cross Dimension and your MMC reformatted and stuff like that. I mean, I really don't see what they can do next to really grab me. I mean, there's lots of kitschy stuff they could do. Like, we've seen things like a Beast Wars looking hot rod type stuff, you know, they're going to start straying a little too far from that kind of stuff, and we'll see. I mean, it looks like the next level in the game are these highly articulated, high-end action figure type stuff.
Flame Toys.
Well, what Flame Toys is doing is they're doing the really high end, and they're doing the model kits.
Yeah.
Now, what if they did something in between where it was just a transformer that didn't transform, but looked just like it did in the cartoon?
Like,
and it cost a lot less because you're not paying for all those parts. Now you're paying $40 for an Optimus Prime that looks just like Optimus Prime, and all the bots that come along with them, you know, and at a fast pace, because, you know, they're just basically molds, you know.
I almost feel like they're already giving you that with the model kits, like some of the stuff that's G1 inspired, you know, $35.
He's saying more of like, say, the Bandai Spirits, like the Pacific Rim figure.
Yeah. Well, Revoltech is doing that, right? Didn't they just put out that Optimus Prime that's like super articulated and,
you know, probably
it's a
like
little stylized though, like, you know. But
I tell you that Flame Toys model kit of Optimus we looked at last night on ETR, if they did a whole G1 cast like that in that style, which is, I mean, it's G1, right? Just, you know, a little bit, you know, more curvy, I guess, you know, less blocky. I would be very tempted. I think, you know, I would be, dude, I would be really tempted. I think that would be a really nice looking shelf, to be honest. I don't know.
Coming.
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. Those releases are so far and few in between, and unless they really demonstrate, hey, guess what? You know, you're getting a lot of those characters. I don't know. It's hard for me to dive in. I'll get the Optimus though.
Is anybody else feeling sort of like Brian as far as like outlook? Not excited about future pre-orders or whatnot? Like I don't, you know.
I mean, as far as Transformers, I haven't pre-ordered anything Transformers in at least a year. If I do have any pre-orders, it's like Storm or 1,000 Toys.
So it's the other stuff that's grabbing you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we have a ton of Black Series stuff on pre-order. Now that the MCU is kind of over, we don't really, because that was basically all the only Marvel Legends that we were doing.
That's sad to hear when I hear that. The MCU is over.
I mean, I never really. Well, okay,
you know, like that's the thing though, because I do get like what Brian says about that, because it's like, okay, Black Widow, okay, whatever. If it's a prequel or whatnot, I saw the trailer. Okay, looks fine. Not something that I'm like super duper excited for. You know, it looks like they figured out their situation for this next Spider-Man film, and then after that I guess we'll see. You know, but I guess there's so many other new properties, it's like, are we gonna like this stuff? You know, but look what they did with Guardians, which was almost unknown when it came out, and look what the fuck they did with that. So I almost feel like they could sell you anything, you know.
I could, yeah. I'm just waiting to get that taste, right? As of right now, like I'm saying, like there's stuff coming. I'm just not anticipating.
Yeah,
I'm not waiting with bated breath.
But
I feel you.
It's definitely different than like 3 years ago, where we knew that stuff was coming, but we knew the storyline and where it was going. Here, we know there's stuff coming, but we just don't know what direction they're going in. Like we don't know. You know, kind of, you know, we can make assumptions and theories on what storyline they're doing next and everything, but at the end of the day, we just don't. We're not like 3 years ago, and we knew kind of the direction they were going, where things are going to fall out, and anticipating the next, you know, major movie coming out. But this time, it's like, you know, okay, where's the anticipation for the next movie? Is it Black Widow? You know, or is it something coming down the line where I have to watch 3 or 4 movies, and then this new storyline's happening, and then now I'm invested. But it's cool.
So Brian, you mentioned the curating piece, right? So, and to your point, John, not knowing what's necessarily coming the way maybe it used to be, would you ever consider looking at like different components for a collection that aren't necessarily action figures? Because
it's like now that it looks like I have an opportunity to curb the accumulation, right? It's time to start doing some refinement, right? And it's funny because I think we've talked about this even when the show started. It's like, what are some of the next steps, right? Like I was just putting up shelves, and I'm like, wow, you know, I could do like dioramas for certain shelves and kind of make something that really looks nice. And then I find myself, I'm like, well, you know, I got friends who only live a couple hours away. If I want to see a display that nice, I'll just go to hang out at their house, you know. You know, do I really need to rehash what they just did?
Dave's shaking his head.
But no, Brian's got a legitimate point. I'm going to say the same thing. I don't need an amazing Hot Toys collection, because I can ask Dave to go to his house and just look at his wall like I did and stare at it like I'm watching a movie all night long.
Being used, bro.
At the door,
You know, I think like when Tyler presents like the sideshow stuff, right? And I know, on Mondays, and it's the high end pieces, but like that's the site sometimes I'll go through and look at prints. You know, maybe I'll look at statues just to get different ideas for things. That aren't just toys or action figures or the same lines for stuff. And I don't know. I think that's kind of exciting for the variety piece is kind of where my brain is going. Again, now that I'm not anticipating moving anytime soon, you know, I'm really trying to think, how do I maximize the space in this room without making it look cluttered? But what could I do for some variety so that I stay interested in it? You know, like you said, Ryan, in a different way. I don't really like. That's I don't like it. I don't need to either feel the need for dioramas to be that piece, but I could certainly do a different mixture of, you know, I don't know if the right word is media, but some, you know, just some really contrasting variety in what the collection pieces look like. And I think that would certainly keep me excited and motivated in between, you know, the releases of other stuff.
Nice.
Cool.
I was like, why everybody goes silent?
So, like, to finish what I was gonna say, so there are things that I'm looking forward to that I am excited about. Like, I'm excited to see where Black Series goes, what comes out in the future. The other end of that is like, I'm still making my own figures that they haven't done yet. So if there is a figure that comes out and like I can use that as a base, you know what I mean? That kind of excites me. Like I you know, whatever. From a customizer's perspective, I guess that's, you know, that's the level of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
on the other end,
not getting off the Black Series, JD. Like the thing is that it would be nice with this break that they have in Star Wars, whether they go back and touch upon some characters that they can do from like the prequels or the original series.
With like every wave, they're touching upon everything.
Yeah, that's like I think this would be a great time for Black Series to kind of get like, you know, a little like, you know, really spread the wave, and not like, you know, have 5 out of the wave related to a movie or something like that. They can really kind of spread it and make 6 different characters, 2 from prequel, 2 from original, 2 from Rogue One. Finish off the Rogue One.
What they're doing. Kind of. So like we'll finish our Rebels. You know what I mean? We're getting a Zeb.
Yeah. Yep.
Why they announced that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they teased it at such and such
nice.
thing.
Yeah.
And that was another thing too. Like the big toy shows from last year, which it seems every con is a toy show at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
So we're getting heavy. Oh wow, we're getting Jar Jar Binks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the end of each one of those shows, like I wasn't like, huh, you know, nothing was really grabbing me either. So it kind of stunk.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting I'm kind of just waiting, I guess. Not with bated breath, but I'm waiting to see what's the next thing that's going to grab me.
Do you think that there's anything that will, like anything that maybe out of anything that's upcoming that you think has potential to?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I would love to Figure Arts to expand on their Harry Potter line, but considering how not well it sold, I don't think we're gonna see anything. Or maybe no one wanted those little kids. You know, I mean, I made a great diorama of Anakin dismembering them. That was fantastic. But, yeah. So there's that, and to be honest, yeah, if they do make collectibles for the boys, I mean that show really grabbed me. I was very enamored with it right from the get-go.
Those first few minutes when he just ran right through the chick, that was an eye opener, you know. So
that's just with the boys, right? Like, what do you got? What would they make? Like 8 figures? Like, there's not many characters in that.
Hey,
show.
that sounds great to me. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you'll be longing for like what's next.
I could see maybe like a Hot Toys or somebody like that picking that up because that's, you know, it's an easier collection for them to make, you know, as opposed to having these things all over the walls and Target and shit.
Yeah, he might not be wrong. Nightwing might not be wrong. I mean, dude, you go so hard so fast in such a short time. It's like,
okay, Keith. Nobody anticipating FT Omega. Well, that's already out. We're not excited about that anymore. Now we know he means the 4-backs. You know, it's like, is anybody like thinking about that? Well, you know, I guess again, I think everybody here is just jaded with Transformers. They're just buying them to buy them, but you guys aren't really like anticipating anything. Like, right? Like, is that what it is?
That's true. And I'm not really waiting for that big thing. I'm figure out where the fuck I'm gonna put that, once it's here.
Yeah, that's a question. Yeah, I don't know that if we maybe touched on it at the time, but that is a fucking huge ass piece. And maybe as great as it is to get something like, I guess, sort of in scale, like logistically is like, what do you do with fucking something that big?
And I'm not collecting, for me personally, I'm not collecting that line. I mean,
me and Fort Max
that year. Yeah, I'm not collecting the headmasters and stuff like that. So I don't have a supporting cast for him. If I do,
it's only 3 episodes. That doesn't give you a lot of time to attach to those characters. So who fuck them? Who gives a fuck about them?
I mean, in the original Marvel run, the 80 issues. I mean, they are pretty prevalent in there.
Yeah,
but, that would be where I kind of connect with them. But yeah, I don't need figures of those guys. I mean, I got mythics to put up, dude.
Is it mythic?
But I'm also with Dave. I'm also with Dave with regards to taking a break. I can definitely need a break. Like, just take the break on the wallet, take the break on, just looking back on what you got. Maybe, like you said, Brian, reorganize, maybe refocus and get rid of some clutter. And then at the end of the day, the following years, you can just see what comes up.
Yeah, and again, that's just a side effect. The thing I wanted to talk about was I feel that this is in our short-lived life here of us doing this, like, we actually are experiencing the closing of an era, with these big properties wrapping up big storylines, with collectibles wrapping up lines that they're putting out. It's just I'm really kind of curious. What's next?
And like on a nostalgic standpoint, Brian, too, like, we're getting older, like, obviously, but
easy there, buddy.
We're still the youngest one here, I'm just saying. But anyway, we're collecting this stuff that's nostalgic for us, the 80s, 90s stuff, but that 90s, like early 2000s stuff is going to start coming in, like, back, like, for the teenagers that are alive now, who are going to start making money soon and have that money to burn. And, we're probably going to see a bunch of like remakes of like older like cartoons and stuff that we probably never watched, I can't really think of any that come to mind, but maybe I did watch Doug and shows like that, but they're probably going to come out with a live action Doug movie eventually and all this other shit that my brother watched. He's 8 years younger than me, so pretty soon that whole Renaissance thing is really going to come.
I mean, we're getting like the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe stuff. That stuff's coming up.
We're getting some War for Cybertron Netflix animated series. That's coming up.
When's that?
It's too late.
2020.
It's too late, Hasbro. Too late. Your mark, you fucking.
That train left the fucking station.
Oh man, dude, our chugs are gonna skyrocket in price after that.
What's the matter tonight? He says, "Shut up, Dave."
You said we're getting older.
Truth hurts sometimes.
But no, there are things that are coming, you know what I mean? Like, Brian, like Super 7 got the Thundercat stuff. Like,
like I said, that's one
they know people want some Silverhawks.
Yeah, we got Toy Fair coming up right around the corner, so maybe they'll announce some shit we probably didn't hear about yet. So,
but the thing is, the last few shows, I was like, oh, and then we have to talk about it afterwards. Hey, what caught your eye? And I'm sitting here like,
Listen, it is what it is,
Resorts Brian to watch an anime.
Keith brought it up that it's possible. That's just what it is. Collector's exhaustion. We're all in this like so hard, so deep. We're jaded. We're jaded. That's what it is. I think maybe the only thing we could do is to step away for a little bit. Give yourself like detox in a way, basically. Give yourself a few months without getting shit. Give yourself 6 months and don't buy anything. And then see how you feel about it. When you step back in.
Oh yeah, no, it's all gonna change in 3 weeks, and of course, when we meet up in Warminster, PA. Sorry, Gary.
Yo, he's fucking it up too. BTM was always the crew. We'd always be all together. Now that's it. That's out the window
Gary-
now.
Listen,
Damn, Gary.
there's a toy show in Tampa this Saturday.
Fucking went to Florida. He went to Florida to retire.
So it works both ways. And
Gary's fucking.
Tampa
Gary's
doesn't
fucking
have
collecting
us.
his Social Security.
I'm just saying.
All
He's
right,
on
so good.
poolside with a glass of whiskey and just chilling. Hi guys.
Well, good discussion. We'll continue it on the Hangout. As always, as anybody out there watching or listening knows, we do continue this great conversation off the air and invite the people that are watching to come and join with us. So look out for the link in a few minutes in the Realm of Collectors Facebook group. We'll throw one out there for you. Just a quick order of business before we go around the yard and get some where you at. I've been told there's a new podcast that there's going to be debuting this week on Thursday, 8:30 p.m. It's called The Total Package, and it's a crazy, fun-filled romp where a gaggle of ladies.
Finally, you made a podcast about me.
A gaggle of ladies, some of our better halves here. Actually, I'm not going to tell you who. You're going to just have to tune in and be surprised. But some of our better halves have gotten together and they got a show. So, it's a gaggle of ladies who have some things to get off their chest and talk about, well, anything that comes to their mind, and nothing is off the table. So join them each Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Total Package Podcast.
I see what you did there. You said nothing's off the table. A lot of things off their chest, and the total package. I can't wait to see this podcast now. I mean, we got tables and chest and all this stuff. Oh,
Is this a new channel?
It's enticing. A brand new channel on YouTube, the Total Package Podcast, and they have they're gonna have themed topics and a rotating cast. So check them out. You could also follow them on Facebook and Instagram at total.package.podcast, and their Twitter is Total Package Pod. So check them out. That's gonna debut this Thursday.
Their logo is a smooch. It says a total package. I like this.
Oh,
Hey,
Subscribed.
subscribe.
And I'm gonna hit the bell too. Hit the bell.
guys,
Bell is on.
get your laptops open, ready for Thursday 8:30. Lotion, tissues, get it all together.
Lotions and tissues.
8:30 p.m. guys, the Total Package Podcast. Check them out. Check out those ladies, and that starts this Thursday. All right,
Liked on Facebook. Doing
Yeah.
it all.
Look,
They got
Brian
an
already
ID?
got about Instagram.
do
fucking
it.
Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter. Like them on Facebook. You guys know what to do. We'll shout them out again next week. All right, let's go around the yard, get some where you at. Energon Addict, I'll start with you, brother.
All right. You can find me here on Tuesdays, Energon Addict on Instagram, and that's about it. So have a good week, everybody.
All right, Dom.
If I'm in the groups, Dominic Rosso here Tuesday nights with you guys, and everyone enjoy.
All right, Gary the second.
Yes, Gary Allen on Facebook, and that's the best place.
Facebook, the
So
Analyzer.
what con are they going to find you at this weekend, Gary?
It's not a con. It's
The
a.
suntan con.
It's actually. I think I'm gonna try and go. Yeah, it's just it's a toy show. I think it's like a Hilton hotel in Tampa. So we'll see. See. To be fair though, the promoters. I think I sent it to you, Dave. They actually. Someone from the group had attended NJCC last time in the summer because they had pictures of it posted on their link. So I thought that was kind of
that fucking guy with the trench coat that walks through the whole thing and never buys anything the whole time. You know who you are. You know who I'm talking.
All right, Brinkalizer.
Hey, I know all these ladies.
Just want to let you know, Dave
Like
said that.
on
okay?
Instagram. I did it. Oh, man. This Thursday. I'm excited. See? I'm excited for something. All right. Oh, what's this now?
Tell them where you at.
Oh. At Brinkalizer on Instagram, Brian Brink in the Facebook groups. And 3 weeks, people. 2.5 weeks. If you are in the Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland area, we are all getting together for something called ZoloCon. So,
Zolo.
Nice. All
check
right.
it out.
JD.
JD Brocious on the Facebook groups. Pigment Surgery on Instagram and Xbox Live. Here every Tuesday with you guys. Every other Wednesday on Figure Banging. It'll be new show next week. Shelf Gravy on Instagram and Facebook.
Dude, you look like Forrest Gump with that just that jumpsuit on, and you're ready to fucking run. I just look at you now, and I'm like, dude, that's Forrest
Figured I
Gump.
run this far. Might as well turn around.
That's real. That he said that. That's funny.
I'm sorry. I just had it. With your beard, dude. Come on.
Oh. It's not a jumpsuit. It's actually
A windbreaker. I don't know what the fuck it is, but
from Mass Effect.
That was funny.
love you, JD. Love you.
That's cool.
Oh God! All right.
I still know what love.
I'm gonna
is,
go
JD.
fucking run my ass right out of here.
Oh God! All right. As for myself, Harrick and BX all over social media. Check out Verbally Challenge on all audio podcast pushing platforms. Remember to check out Crashbox Customs for all your Mexico and diorama needs. Mention the word realm while placing an order, and you'll get a surprise.
I got you. I got you.
And don't forget to check out the rest of the shows on the Cool Table Network, Enter the Realm, this show, Shattercast Uncut, Nerd Rage Radio, Building Up to a Fresh Communication, Shattercast Uncut, all that good stuff. If I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. And the rest of the shows here on the Realm Collectors Podcast Network, as JD said, Figure Banging every other Wednesday, and MPSP Theater this Friday night. Don't forget it. And the Total Package Podcast, as I said, 8:30 p.m. this Thursday. All right, guys. ROC Hangout continues next. Thank you for hanging. Chat Squad, you were awesome tonight. Thank you for hanging with us tonight. We'll see you guys next week. All right. Take care. Stay safe.
Awesome.
Peace out.
Have a great week.
I got magic legs.
Show we didn't give anything away this time. It's like shit. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Say it with me now. Round.